How many tons of road salt are used on Maine's roads during a typical winter? The answer? Somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,000 tons. That's nearly 800 pounds of salt for every person in the state. This, of course, has been a much snowier and much colder winter than we've had in recent years.
And that likely meant more salt spread out on the roads. News Center Maine's Sean Tesler shows us how companies that supply that salt and towns and cities that use it made it through the season.
It was not enjoyable. It was not fun. There was an absolute shortage.
Maine Salt Company owner Ryan McPike got hundreds of calls from all over the country asking for salt this winter.
Maine got through it, but Massachusetts, New Hampshire, those people were out of salt for towns and governments. We had highway departments calling from Vermont.
And getting calls from buyers he doesn't hear from unless their supply is low.
So basically at that point, I never let my building run low. Every time we sold 100 tons, I brought in 100 to 200 more.
The company keeping stock by using 4 different importers and limiting sales to existing customers.
I would rather the people of Maine have got my pallet of salt than coastal Carolina.
In years past, I've never had to worry about where's the next load of salt going to come from.
David Murphy owns Murphy's Lawn Care, a private plowing company that has operated for 20 years and gets most of its salt from Maine Salt Company. He worries salt shortages will continue in the following winters.
My goal as a contractor is I need that security. So do I need to build the facility so I can buy more ahead and stock up?
While it was difficult for private companies, that stress wasn't felt in local municipalities.
Salt's been fine. Haven't had any issues getting salt. We call down and usually the next day we get a load.
McPike says that's because local governments were prioritized over private companies.
DOTs in towns had all the salt they wanted. That's what happened. They took the salt and said, this isn't going to any commercial users.
McPike values local governments getting first bid, but thinks it could have been a fair split.
Contractors not having salt, it was just really hard to deal with when every shed had salt.
Despite troubles, McPike is confident he has enough salt to finish the winter season. Sean Tesler, News Center, Maine.
McPike also says any salt left over will be bagged up in May and then stored for next winter.